Global financial stability has improved significantly, but vulnerabilities remain. I think that the major factor behind the improvement in financial conditions has been the extraordinary policy support provided by the national authorities and the international authorities during the crisis. And this is something which has benefited the situation of financial institutions. It has benefited financial market performance, and all of this in turn has underpinned the economic recovery. And the economic recovery has, in a second round, also benefited the financial system. But for example, in the GFSR, we estimate that the total write-downs for the global banking system have come down about 20% from our previous estimate to $2.3 trillion. So that of these $2.3 trillion, about two-thirds have already been realized by global banks, and one-third still needs to be realized. But with the proviso that financial institutions and banks in particular have raised capital in the interim in order to better absorb these losses. I think there are mainly three. The first one is to cope with the asset deterioration, particularly in bank balance sheets in the future. The second is to refinance the very important amount of debt which was issued during the crisis. And the third is that banks ensure that the deleveraging process goes on in an orderly manner and thus is consistent with a recovery of credit. As a result of the crisis, budget deficits have increased very significantly particularly in advanced economies, and public debts have increased a lot too in these economies. So we now have the interesting situation where we have gone back to the debt to GDP ratios that we had after World War II, but without a World War. And this is an unprecedented challenge for the governments of many mature economies that find themselves saddled with a lot of public debt. Now, for this reason, it is very important that fiscal consolidation plans are devised so that markets do not get nervous and that they remain convinced of the sustainability of public finances. And this is all the more important in those economies where investors may be already having doubts about the sustainability of the public finances. So this is very, very important. And at the same time, I think that together with this action, we need to make sure that we complete the regulatory reform agenda so that we not only do things to consolidate financial stability, but also to move to a safer financial system.